Okay, we're on two devices. Working. Let me just check. Okay. All right, one device. Yes. I'm setting up. So as you can see, hello YouTube. Hello IG. IG. You got the best seat in the house. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You got the best seat in the house. YouTube. I'm probably gonna end up uploading something else, so we'll see. And Facebook. Let's go. Here we come. All right. So, and it looks like we are all the way live. At least I think so. Um, this is a follow-up conversation. I don't know who's going to show up, if anybody, if anything. It is just a repeat video so that I can upload a standard that I said that I would. My name is Miss Logan, and I have taught math for over 11 years. And I did a running marathon, not a running math, a math teaching instructional marathon the other day. And I forgot a standard, so I need to teach a standard. So that's what we're going to do. So welcome. If you catch this video and you are coming in as I can't do that. So yeah, if you catch this video, I am not going to be able to engage too much with the audience right now because I'm teaching the concept. I taught 4 hours. 4 hours. So I'm tired. And I did my hair the day before, so I'm tired. But I'm a woman of my word. And I said I would teach how to graph a line, and I did not. So that's what we're doing today, and that's it. So my name is Miss Logan. I did run a fundraiser because I don't have the supplies that I need. So I need some support. That's what that was. This is just a continuation of that. All of my links are on my link tree. If you end up on IG, my link tree is actually tagged. If not, then I can type that. Yeah, I want to see what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, I need you to be able to see the math Facebook. Because if you can't see my board, then you can't see. That's not a very good view. I don't like that. You can't really see me too well. That's not good English. It's like that in the class, but I would still like for you to have a better. Okay, that's good. So maybe it's just me. That's not good, but it's better. Let me try. Sorry, y'all. Plus I don't see nobody here. Anyway, my audience is on IG, and that's why IG has the best seat in the house, and I don't see anyone yet. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep going again. Miss Logan of Miss Logan's class. I had a lot of success. 95% of my students passed the statewide assessment, and as a leader, when I led a group of teachers, 25% of the student achievement in math increased. So I'm here with hopes to help individuals who struggle with math understand math more. And again, today we are only talking about graph and line, and I'm going to use different methods to do so. And hopefully everyone can see enough from the 3 angles. If not, then I'm going to post a clean copy on YouTube. So YouTube is getting a copy, but I'm going to post another copy. Hopefully I'll be able to download the video from Instagram and post that one onto YouTube. So let's get started. And we're graphing today without a calculator. So what that means is I'm notating that we're graphing today without a calculator. Then that means that we will eventually graph with a calculator. So when I get a projector, so I can actually project decimals onto my screen, then that is how I will teach that. And again, it looks like Facebook, I'm not getting the best image. Like the picture, yeah, keyframe rate though, yeah, something's happening with the video. So if you show up and you're on Facebook, you don't have to just listen well. It may come in and out of focus, but I think that our best cameras are going to be on Instagram and YouTube. And we'll just see. But we are how do you graph a line. So we're going to use the points 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, right? And school starts next week. And these are things that I noticed were always an issue with our curriculum when I taught math. So that's why this is happening this way right now. All right. And yeah, I am sweating. OMG, it's hot. OMG, it's hot. OMG, it's hot. Okay, so we're going to take several routes. I'm going to say one way. I'm not sure. I'll break it up and I'll define it for you later. We're going to start with when you have 2 points and you don't have the y-intercept or the b. Now, if you were not here with me on Friday, then you may want to review that video later. Not now, because we're going to go over it and how to find it. I'm not going to necessarily go into the definition in great deal like I did before, but I am going to talk about it. So, okay. When you have 2 points, then your strategy here is you're going to probably, so this is going to be our way number 1. And we're talking about how do you graph a line. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. How do you graph a line? And so in this case, so we're going to call this maybe case 1. I like that. So in this case, we have 2 points. So we're going to go all the places that you can go if you have 2 points. So if you have 2 points, and I hope that I'm in the camera, as long as I'm pretty much standing in front of the board, you can see me, but you can hear me. Okay, so if you have 2 points, then the first thing you need to do is find the slope. Because if we have 2 points, then we have to use the point slope form. And because this is a follow-up video to the very long 4-hour session that I did, I made a mistake and I was doing slope intercept and I said it was point slope form. I notate that on the document that I gave you as far as what's in that video. And I just want to be clear. Here, the point slope form, which is what we're going to use, is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So it was a vocabulary switch. I used the wrong word. I didn't have my book. And so I just made a mistake, and I just want to bring that to your attention. This is the point slope form, and this is for use when you have 2 points. Now, you can use it when you have a y-intercept, and we'll talk about that, but this is the more challenging way, so I wanted to start here. We'll go to the y-intercept because we've already talked about that, and we'll do that quickly because we actually did talk about how to write the equation. We're going to graphing a line, but if you don't have the information to graph a line, this is where you begin, and that's why I'm starting here. Because the truth of the matter is, on an assessment, this is what you'll see. You'll either see 2 points, graph a line, or what's the equation of the line, or what graph matches the equation. So all of these things can happen. All right, cool. So we have this. What I would do, this is our equation. We know that we can label our points x1, y1. Now I can label x2. Matter of fact, I'm going to label x2, y2 because we're going to need that. We talked about that on Friday. You graph those points, label those points. So the slope is what we need to find first. So first, find slope. Oh, that's not the right word. I mean, that's not the other. That's why I wrote M. Remember when we talked on Friday, slope is M. The letter that represents slope we use is M. So when you see M and they ask you to find the slope, or M equals, then they're talking about the slope of the line. And we're going to go into some detail with that as well, but we're going to go into it right now. So, okay, cool. I need to find the slope. I know the slope equation is this. The change in, this is another mistake I made. Boom, change in y. While I was talking, I drew a triangle and I said a diamond. That should be a triangle to represent change in. And I know that's not necessarily 9th grade. That's going to be your upper level. I just don't want to have bad vocabulary. So that means the change in x is not going to be a diamond. It's going to be a triangle. Now, for the equation, for everyone else, is going to be y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Now I'm writing the real equation. Remember we talked on Friday, you can do y minus y over x minus x, and that's fine. But this is the equation, so we want to do it the right way in this video because I'm going to upload this and cut it up at some point, and this is going to be how to find the slope using, how to graph a line using the point slope form. All right, boom. So this is our equation. Now, we identified our x1 and our y1, right? So x1, y1, x2, y2. Now take that information, and the way we did it on Friday is we actually created buckets, so to speak, because y1, that's a variable, and that means something. Or y2, that's what that is, not y1, y2. So we need to go, what does y2? Well, y2 represents 4. Boom. All right. Now, y1 represents 2. Boom. X2, that's what goes there, x2. So x2 is 3, and then x1 is 1. All right, cool. So that's the numerical values. Now we need to simplify it a little bit. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and 3 minus 1 is 2. Wonderful. So 2 divided by 2, that's something we talked about on Friday. Anything over itself, so all of this is m equals, anything over itself is 1, so our slope is 1. Now, that's good information. So we're going to put this up. I'm gonna use another color right now because I need to organize my thoughts. So m equals 1. So I know the m. All right. Now, that is enough information to write the equation. But that's not what we're here for, right? So that's wonderful. I'm so glad I get that in. Because that's how you would write the equation of the line, and that's not what we're here to talk about. Oh no, we're here to talk about how you would graph this line, and you need the slope to graph. Now, what I need to talk about with respect to slope is this. So remember we said to make a whole number, no, let me slow down. Slope lets you know the steepness of your line. It also lets you know if it's rising or falling. So if it's positive, it's rising. So positive slope is going to be in the coordinate plane, right? And it's going to rise from left to right. Okay, cool. That's what's relevant now because our slope is positive, so that gives us some information. We know, I don't know where my slope is, I don't know where my line is in the coordinate plane right now, but I know it should look like that. Okay, cool. Let's go. Now, the other thing we talked about is when you have a whole number. Now, because slope is representative of, let me take the number off, rise over run. Because slope is movement, it's how your line moves in the coordinate plane. Then what we need to do is we need a fractional value. So your slope, because that's the change in your x's, no, that's the change in your y's over your change in your x's. So this is, where does your graph on the top go? Up or down? If it's up, it'll be positive, or down, and we're talking about the number on with respect to your slope. And then the denominator will go left, it'll be negative, or right, which will be positive, okay? So this is information. So we need to talk about how to use slope in the coordinate plane. That's what this is. How do I use slope in the coordinate plane? How do I, now, if I got a number over a number right now, I see a whole number. I don't see a number over a number. Okay, well, we talked about that on Friday. Whenever you have a whole number, you always take a whole number and you divide it by 1, and that keeps the number. You don't actually change the value of the number. Okay, so with that regard, I have a positive 1 over a positive 1, which means I'm going to go up 1 and right 1. Now let's talk about what that means, okay? So I'm going to erase the positive slope for now because we don't need it. We actually now need to use this information to graph. All right, so I'm going to draw the coordinate plane. XY value, draw the coordinate plane. Remember that's the origin at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. All right, so first thing we do, find our slope because we need our slope to graph. Now we need to graph at least, so first, boom, find slope. That's one way. So this is our first case. We got 2 points. The first thing we can do is find our slope. The second thing we can do is graph 1 point. All right, so we talked about graphing points. We talked about how we graph points on Friday. So we know the first point is 1, 2. So I'm going to go to the origin. If it's 1, 2, we know that the first value is the x, the second value is the y. This means if it's the x-axis, which direct how many did I go left or right, and then how many do I go up or down. So just as a mini review to how to graph a point, that's how you graph a point. So we start at the origin. We see a 1. If I see a 1, that means I'm going to go to the right 1. Don't put a point, just kind of hold your pencil there or your marker there or whatever you're using, because you also have to consider the movement on the y. So then, that's not clear, right? 1. Then you're moving on the y is 2. It's also a positive number, so you're going to go up 2. So I started at 0, 0, right 1, up 2, put a point. Bam. That's the 1, 2 point. From there, use the slope. Use the slope to grab the second point. No, this is not the only way you can do it, but this is one of the ways. So this is what we're doing right now. Again, way easier when I can get technology and I can show you everything, but right now I can't do that. When I can, I will. Promise. That doesn't help with lighting. That doesn't help with lighting. All right, cool. Where were we? Oh, we were at the point. So we know that we need to go up 1 and right 1. So that's what, again, slope is movement. So your slope is how you move in the coordinate plane, right? So from the point that I graphed, which is 1, 2, I'm going to go up 1, right 1, and that gives me the next point in the line. Now that's not the point that you see, but that's just the next point in the line. So the next point in the line is 2, 3. So this is 2, 3. That is enough information to draw the line. At that point, you take a straight edge. Whatever it is, pencil marker, ruler, paper, who cares? You connect the dots. Connect the dots. You have drawn a line. So your 4, after you plot the second point, is to connect the dots. And I'm hot, so I gotta pull this hair back. All right, so that is one way. That's one way. That's when you're given 2 points. That is one way that you can actually graph. That you can graph your line. All right, let's go to another way. All right, so that is number 1, and we're still in case 1 though. So I'm going to erase everything. Okay, I'm going to erase most things, not everything. Most things. I'm going to erase this. 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 All right. So what do we need? Oh, we're going to even erase this. Okay, so this is case 1. We still have 2 points, but this is going to be way number 2. Okay, so this is still considering 2 points. So way number 2 is way easier than way number 1, to be honest with you. We're graphing a point, right? So let's say we have, first of all, if it's online, I can't wait till I have what I need. If it's not online, then what you need to do is go to your coordinate plane. You're probably not going to have to draw it by hand. I have to because I'm at the board. And I don't have a projector. And before there were projectors, this was the only way to do it. So it's all good. Anyway, so all you have to do is step 1, graph both points. Step 2, connect the dots. Now, so I like to continuously, I don't like to just repeat myself on purpose, but when it comes to math is one of those things that you learn with repetition. You got to do it and you got to repeat it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, just that mini review, graphing those points. We've already talked about it, but now we're going to graph 2 of them, okay? So that means left, right, up, down, right? Left, negative, right, positive, up, positive, down, negative. So that's what's happening. And so for the first ordered pair, I'm going to go right 1 and then up 2. All right, hopefully we put that abbreviation. I know I'm moving fast. At least I hope I'm not moving too fast. That's the first point. Right 1, I'm gonna use some colors. All right, right 1, up 2. That's the first point. Boom, grab it. Do the same thing for the second point, except you determine where you're going. So it's 3, 4. Left, right. If it's positive, we go to the right. So we're going to the right 3. And the second number, if it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. So we're going to go up 4, okay? And I hope I'm not moving too fast. I did kind of, we talked about graphing points. And so there's a little bit of, we already talked about this. And so I'm utilizing the fact that there's foundation, kind of, but we have been talking about it and hopefully you're with me. And if I need to clarify, again, I do not have any problem. I just need someone somewhere to comment or email or let me know what else I can do. Anyway, so the second point is 3, 4. So we're going to go to the right 3 Start at the origin. 1, 2, 3. From there we go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We put a point and we connect the dots. That's not a straight line. I'm at the board of you. Trying my best. All right, boom. So that's how you graph the line. That is the same line. It does not represent the same points that we found, but that's because a function is the continuation of all the points. So any point that's on the line is the solution for this graph. So it doesn't matter that we didn't find the other point that we had when we did it way number 1. It just matters that both of those points fall on that line. Okay, now the next one. Okay, now I'm doing this because there are times that you have to find your B, right? And we did that yesterday, I think. We found our slope. So because we're continuing, wait, do I have anybody? Because if I don't have anybody, I might go ahead and go through it. Oh no, I do. Hey, I got somebody. Hey, what's up? Yes. Spread the word. How you doing? Yeah, we talked about graphing. Okay, well, I will not go through it because we already talked about that's a waste of time. So we found the slope. All right, so we know that m equals 1. So if you are with me and hopefully you saw that, then we're going to stick with that. And what we're going to do is we're going to change, and we want to graph case 2, and we want to use the slope and the y-intercept. So here we want to use the slope and y-intercept. Okay. Now the issue is we don't have it. So that is another thing that I want to practice, because one thing I thought about, and I've been pushing the calculator, decimals is great. But the thing is, once you hit 11th grade, and some of us are going to take it before 11th grade, SAT for sure. ACT, I'm not 100% positive, but SAT has a no calculator section, which means if you're dealing with a line, you need to know how to graph it by hand. Because if you don't have a calculator, then with decimals, you can find the y-intercept by just going across the line. But when you don't have technology, then how do you find that? And that's why it's important for me to explain it now. Because it is so possible for you to go to the ACT or the SAT and they ask you to find the B. Well, what is the B? And how do I find it? All right, so in order for us to do that, there are some things we need to do. And that's why we're here. So this one, and this is where I made that mistake. So I taught a whole section on slope-intercept form. All the math was right, but I just called the section the wrong thing. So if you catch the first one, and if you know anyone who needs help with math, by all means, the lessons are really, really short. They're abbreviated on purpose, and I taught it test-taking style, which means I brought in all the math necessary to solve it. Please share with students, please share with educators. They can put the classroom with that. It was a fundraiser, and so I kind of just did it the way I would do a Saturday school type situation. We just go hard and not bring it at all. So that's what's happening today too. So slope-intercept form, because this is a continuation of that conversation. So we started and we did some work with y equals mx plus b, which is the slope-intercept form. And we also addressed the issue when you don't have your b, which is very important. You need to find it. And that is one of the things I know I've seen on the SAT, for sure. So you need to be able to calculate it by hand. But we know the m, and if you weren't here for that, then we did do a section on that. So when I post the video, it's there. All right, so we know that, but we don't know b, and that's what we need. So we have to substitute in the information we have. And so this is when you consider y1 and x1, because we need to find b. So that's the information I don't have. So I have to use the information I do have to find what I don't have. All right, so I know y1. y1 is 2. So I'm going to substitute the 2 here for the y1. I know the m. The m is 1. Well, that should have parentheses. That should have parentheses. No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. I'm tripping. X plus b. I'm going back formulas. This is why you need your book in front of you. Anyway, those should not have parentheses. We are looking for b, and that should not be there. So that should be 1 times multiplication. 1 times 1, because x1 is 1 plus b. Beautiful. That's what that should be. So we multiply here. So 2 equals 1 times 1 is 1 plus b. We have not solved for b. So just as a reminder, Remember, in order to solve for a variable, we need to get that variable on the side by itself with a positive 1 in front of it. Well, we do have a positive 1 in front of our b. If we don't see it, we know it's there. That's one of those mathematical things. They expect you to know the 1 is sitting there even if you don't see it. I'm not going to write it because, again, at this point, we've laid the foundation and it's not going to be there, so I don't want you to get comfortable with seeing it. We need to get to the understanding where we know that it's there. Okay, so this is 1b. We're good. We just need to get b on the side by itself. So just as a review for solving equation, we need to, what do we see? Identify what we see. All right, I see addition. Now, this addition is important, but that's not the addition necessary to get the b on the side by itself. The addition necessary to get the b on the side by itself is the imaginary plus sign that's there. And I know all this imaginary assumptions and all of that, yes, with mathematics, unfortunately, it comes with the territory. And that is why you're going to hear me repeating these things over and over. So when you're sitting in an assessment, you're going to hear my voice getting on your nerves, but you're also going to be able to recall it. You're going to be able to recall it. So we see addition. We use the opposite operation, which is subtraction. And so we need to subtract that 1 from each side of the equation. Remember, we put that line there. We're not letting anybody make us feel any type of way because we want to make sure that what we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other side of the equation, and we don't no confusion. Those simplify. I know my b looks like a 6. I'll try to be more careful. 1 minus 1 is 0. B comes down, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So our y-intercept is 1. That is a good information, right? Because we know that the y-intercept is the point where the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay? Now, I said that real fast. Hopefully, I don't need to repeat, but I may, just to be thorough. So B is the y-intercept, and that is where the line or function crosses the y-axis. So we talked about x-intercepts and y-intercepts yesterday. Remember, our y-axis is the vertical one. So we start by graphing the y-intercept. So our step 1 to graphing, because remember that's why we're here. How do you graph a line? So step 1 to graphing using slope-intercept is graph B. Okay, so the first thing we do is graph our y-intercept. We know that the y-axis is here. This is the negative direction. This is the positive direction. So we start at the origin. If it's a positive 1, I go up 1 and I put a point. Okay, so this is also 1 on it, or the coordinates for that B would also be 0 because you're going to the left or the right, none. So because we're not going left or right, so you put a 0 and then positive 1. So for every y-intercept, that's how it's going to be written. 0, comma, some number. Anyway, and if it's positive, up, if it's negative, down. All right, now, step 2. So step 1, graph B, we graph B. It's going to be on your y-axis, your y-axis somewhere. Step 2. Your step 2 is going to be use the slope. Use slope to graph the second point. Okay, so the first point is the y-intercept. Good. Now we need that slope. So remember we talked about making that slope a whole number, right? So m equals 1, but that's the same thing as 1 over 1, and we need that in order to use the slope to graph. So we have our first point, but we need to use this as our rise over run. How far does my graph rise? Well, it rises positive 1. So it goes up 1. So that's what that means, up 1. Then from our up 1, so we start at the point, you start at the y-intercept, go up 1. Now I'm going to go back to the bottom of the fraction now. So on the bottom, how far did you run? Well, I ran positive 1. So I got a plus 1 over plus 1, right? If we don't see a sign, it's positive. If it's negative, you will see the sign. All right. So I went up 1, and then from there, I'm going to go right 1. Okay, so now we're going to actually use the slope. So I'm going to go back. Boom. We started at the origin. We graphed our y-intercept at positive 1. From there, That's when you use the slope after you graph the B. You go up one, because it was positive one, and then we're going to go right one. Once you do the movement, so plus one there, up one, plus one. That's what it is, plus one. And then we went right one, that was also a plus one. So that's how slope works. It is movement within the coordinate plane. Once you have those 2 points graphed, connect the dots, draw the line. So step 3, connect the dots, draw the line. Because when you're connecting the dots, you're drawing the line. Okay? So that is how we graph when we have the slope and the y-intercept. Is there anything else I need to teach about this concept? Oh my gosh, is that it? We graphed 2 points, we found the slope. We graphed the slope using the slope. And we graphed. Yeah, we're good. That's all I wanted to talk about. I can't say there's anything else I needed to discuss. Oh, that's exciting. That's the only thing that I missed. And if you're joining me and you did not catch the first run, it is 4 hours. So I just want to give you the heads up. Number one, it was 4 hours. It was a rough day. It was a great day though. I was geeked. I changed my t-shirts and I talked about my schools and all the stuff. It was so fun. It just was, I was exhausted. I had to take a nap and get a snack. But please, again, if you know anyone, because we talked about collecting like terms, what is a term, multiplying polynomials, quadratics, so just a lot of foundational things that students need who are going into algebra, 8th grade math, and geometry. These are the things that I saw that were just gaps in it. And it wasn't the students' fault, and that's what made it hard, because they came in feeling less than, like they couldn't perform. Of course, I had some who could, but it wasn't their fault. They had gaps in their knowledge. They had gaps in the teaching. Again, as a math teacher, there were times when I had to correct teachers on the math, because I have a degree in math. I got my degree in teaching later. My degree came in math, and then I got a degree in instruction. But again, the math came first. The teaching came later. Well, I taught in college, because every study session, every group session, I was the one explaining. But all that to say, if you have not checked it out and you have teachers, friends, or if you're a parent, this would be a great resource for you too, because when your child is like, Mom, what's slope? I don't know. But there's a video that you can go to and you can explain that. How do I multiply? What is a polynomial? All of that information was in that run from Friday. And then I said we talk about graphing lines, and I'm pretty sure, let me just clear the board. Make sure that I'm not crazy. I want to make sure I covered everything, but there's a lot of information out there, and it didn't take a long time. So I know students, I taught them. I just came out of the classroom like less than 2 years ago, so I know how short the attention spans are to stuff like this, and then they don't want to write, and I get it. Your hand starts to cramp, but math is not a spectator sport. You have to do it in order to get better at it. And I'm good at it, and I still make mistakes. And I'm not the best. I'm one of the best math teachers I know, but I'm definitely not the best at math. I had to call for help several times. I had to call for help as a teacher. So I never, ever, ever make my students feel like they cannot. It's a matter of what can I do to help you understand. And that's what I'm here for. So if I do have any educators on the call, I am looking for somebody to feed me standards so that I can create video content. I have the curriculum. I've gone through the curriculum, and that's what prompted Friday's run, because based upon what I saw, there's a lot of gaps in the 9th grade and 10th grade year. And so I just wanted to prepare some content to make sure that there was something out there for students to reference at the beginning of the school year, and for parents, because they're going to start coming home with homework, or they're going to start asking questions to somebody. Somebody explained this to me. So I'm here for that purpose. Now graphing the line, we can do that with slope and a point. We can do that with 2 points. And that's it. We found the slope. We found that yesterday. So yeah, we're good. I've taught everything that I feel like right now. So please share. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't know who's where, but love you, YouTube. Love you, IG. Y'all had the best seat. This is my personal, well, at least on IG. Miss Logan's class at Terry Deanne Logan is where I'm going to host, like give announcements for my YouTube, hey, y'all are going to get the content, but the announcements for that channel and all of the information and everything that you need to know is going to be on IG. So what's on the channel? There's a live spreadsheet, please. So you know what's on there. This is it's more about the education than it is about the channel. This is about making sure that students have access to another voice that can explain the math. I explain math well. I kind of talk fast, but I do explain math well. So that's what this is about. I just want to be a part of the party. I'm new to the party. I want to be one of the voices out there to help explain math. So IG is where you're going to get all of that. My link tree has all of my links to it. If you can and are able, if I have educators on the call, I am building from the ground up. And I would like to teach every single algebra standard and every single geometry standard before I actually put my marker down, if that makes sense. So I need a lot of supplies, and so I am asking for help if you have it. And if not, you're here, and I'm in a space enough that I taught a lesson, so something gonna shake because I'm gonna keep building because I know how needed another voice is in this particular area. So if you can't do anything but share, please. If you just here to check me out because you think I'm funny, thank you. And if you can support, I appreciate you in advance. Check out my links, check out my instruction because I know we don't recommend just anybody. I don't recommend just anybody, so I would never ask you to do the same. But you can check me out. And again, my credentials are on LinkedIn. For those of you who want to know, need to know, sometimes we need to know, is this person even real? Well, I have degrees. My certificate, yeah. I did this for 11 years and I left for 5. So I love you. I'm going to go read for leisure. I have a book to read. And I'm going to, Monday, I'm probably going to chill and look at the curriculum, but I'm going to begin uploading content. So YouTube, I'm going to begin uploading content for the curriculum for the school year. Because I'm rolling it out with the school year. So matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I have somebody sending me, matter of fact, they confirmed, I'm getting the curriculum for the first 2 weeks, so I'll be building instructional videos. And those will be going up. So what I taught on Friday was mostly just problem solving, and then there was a mini lesson at the end on parabolas. But starting Monday, I'm looking at instructional videos unless I get problems from people, and then I'll put up problem sets as requested and as needed. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful remainder of your day. I appreciate your time. I hope that you will subscribe and share because I'm definitely trying to get my name out there and my voice out there as far as someone who can speak to clarifying math for people because my students did well. And it wasn't because I did something crazy. I mean, math is math. So hopefully, thank you. Have a good day. All right, ending live here. I'm on 3 devices, so I gotta end one at a time. All right, end stream and end.